Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second ever live. So the reason I started doing these lives is so that everyone can experience what coaching is all about and really do live sessions that are just vulnerable, direct, and to the point. So I'm going to do those every Friday, Friday Vietnam time, maybe Monday as well. We will see how many applicants we get. So today is not that. If you are interested in being live coached, please go to the website. The link will be on my page or on the profile, depending on what platform you're watching this on. In that session on Friday, we can go into anything you want, whether it's business, personal, really anything, mindset, somewhere you feel stuck or you want to move faster. And I'm really looking forward to potentially having you on this Friday. We still have one slot open for this Friday. So if you're interested, do that, or just DM me if you're watching on Facebook. Just open up Facebook and DM me. So just looking at that. Who am I? I'm John Cavendish. If you're watching on Facebook, you know me. If you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, maybe not. So I've exited 3 companies. I've been into Tony Robbins for the last nearly 10 years, and I'm an NLP master practitioner, which is what we use to work through the mindset stuff. And I've got some business experience, 8 figures in revenue on the business side. So a little bit of both. So I wanted this to be a space, as I said earlier, where you can see coaching in action. And what that means to me is see us sitting there working through problems directly. Now that does require some vulnerability from the coachee's side, also my side. So if that's something you're interested in, just reach out. You can come onto the next stream on Friday, or you can have a private session with me. I offer everybody a free 90-minute session to deep dive into anything, if that's something that resonates with you. So the last stream, what we covered was NLP. NLP, why it matters, how it matters. And on this stream, we're going to be diving into stuckness, why founders keep hitting the same wall. So without further ado, let's dive into that, why founders keep hitting the same wall. So I used AI, didn't I? But I came up with a bunch of scenarios and questions that we could discuss and I could share my viewpoint on. And it's probably the things I see the most from my clients, because I extracted this from sessions I've had with clients. And yeah, I'm going to talk through them and see if you resonate with any of these things. And if you resonate, drop a like, drop a comment, or just reach out to me, DM me. So, founder who can't stop being the operator. So an analogy that was shared to me by a business mentor 6 years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, was that the big step between being a leader of an organization and leading people within an organization is what we're rewarded for. So usually we start a business because we're great at something. We are, if you go to the E-Myth, they call them the technician. If you go to the Tony Robbins methodology, they call it the artist. We're the person that's great at doing something. And that's why we start a business. We start something that we're great at because we know we can deliver an amazing product and we see a gap in the marketplace. But once we start growing the business, it's no longer that we're rewarded for. We're no longer rewarded for being the #1 trombone player, because usually we are high performance individuals. So we're really good at doing something. So we can do it really, really well. We can do a great job. Maybe we can have a huge capacity. Maybe we can handle 5 clients ourselves. And that works. That works for making $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 a month, because a high performance person can usually deliver that much value, especially over several clients. The problem becomes for them when they want to get past that. You're no longer, in the orchestra analogy, you're no longer the #1 trombone player. You're now rewarded for being the conductor. And what does the conductor do? The conductor is quiet. The conductor just lines things up, and they're not even moving their hands that much, are they? They're just very gentle, mostly. And if that's the case, then we have to transition from being all out, fast, aggressive, getting things done, to breathing out and being the stable leader. And just like a small aside there on leadership, one thing I learned about leadership is about consistency and about consistency in how we respond. So if someone comes to us, they should know that this is the way this person responds. They're not like walking on eggshells. And, that's probably the same with your kids, the same with friends. Like, people come to you, in my experience, when they know they're going to get an impartial response, even if it's something they don't want to hear. It's not going to be an overreaction. It's not going to be aggression. It's not going to be blame. Yeah. So, something to think about. So, built the business doing everything. Now they can't do everything. So, who identifies with that? Who's watching this and going, yes, I'm making more money than I ever thought possible? Because often founders do. But getting to the next step requires changing role, changing from knowing everything to knowing the system is good, implementing the system, and holding people accountable. Something to think about. So the next pattern I want to dive into now is sabotage and avoidance patterns. So avoiding one conversation that would change everything. So this is an example of somebody who knows what needs to happen next, but they keep finding reasons not to do it. And for me, when I tend to coach high performance entrepreneurs, they tend to be quite logical people as well as being emotional. So there's always a logical reason. If you ask why enough, you can always find a why. But I see my job as a coach, and I see working with people, my job just to challenge, well, yes, I understand that we think that, but if we were to take a step back, what might be another reason? What is the actual purpose behind this? Because we are smart people, all of us watching this stream, and we can always find a reason why. Whether it's a positive reason why, like, yes, it's because I want to achieve this, I'm pushing super hard, or a negative reason why, because I'm a piece of shit. You can always find a reason why. So we need to challenge ourselves and go, well, what is the actual step that would make the next thing happen? So what am I avoiding? And if I was to do that, what are some of the outcomes? Usually there's fear, which is the thing stopping us from taking action. And if we're afraid of something, fear is a poor state, a poor way to make decisions. So never make decisions in a fearful state, because we're going to end up usually making decisions we regret. So fear makes poor decisions is a maxim I would take away from this. I'm talking to myself on the internet, but fear makes poor decisions. So don't make decisions when we're fearful. Go and talk to a friend, go for a walk, get out of your head and into your body, stay in your head, you're dead, and move forward, and then make your decision, or talk it through with somebody you know, like, and trust, and isn't going to put their opinion on you. Because we talked about opinions in the last stream. There's only 3 things that can happen if you give someone your opinion. They do it, and it goes well. Very rare. They don't do it, and you resent them. They do it. It doesn't work. They resent you. And also with the ego, if we give someone our opinion, sometimes they'll be like, I'm not going to do that. I don't do what I'm told. A lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, don't like doing what they're told. So we risk pushing somebody in the wrong direction when we tell them to do something. Opinions are like, I'm not going to say that one. If anyone knows that quote, type it out below. I'm not going to say the word. All right. So avoidance is the pattern. And when I say avoidance, I mean that thought that, like, oh, I should be doing something. I don't know if you've heard this phrase. I find it very useful, and I use it a lot in my coaching, which is when people say, I should do this, I should do that, I should do the other. And you got to be careful, because if you're not careful, you should all over yourself. You're shoulding. And should is a word that makes us feel like lack. I don't know about you, but whenever I say I should do this, I should do that, I'm judging myself on something that I believe that I should have done, or that I could have done in order to move things forward. I think a better thing is to sit back and go, well, really? Should I be doing this? Or if I'm saying should a lot, then what's missing? What's the real gap between where I am, where I want to be, and the result that I think is going to get me there? And for that, I would be sitting on my own or with somebody I trust, again, like a team member, a coach, a partner, and talk it through. If you don't have a business partner, or you don't have a life partner you talk things through with, then a business coach or a team member is good. And I would always frame these talks with a team member into something more like, okay, so this is super important, actually, framing conversations, because operations people, operations people like to do, they like to operate. And the problem with sharing ideas with operations people without framing the conversation is often they just go and do. And then you walk away with something, you're feeling great because you've talked it through, you've got clarity. They're feeling overwhelmed and, oh no, I've got to do all this stuff for John now. So if I was going to talk this through and potential ideas with an operations person, I would say, I value your opinion. We've worked together for a while. I know you're a smart person. I want to talk this thing through. Just so you know, none of these ideas are anything we need to execute on. We're just trying to get everything on a piece of paper, because the good ideas tend to come in third, fourth, fifth, sixth. They're not the first thing that comes. And I want your brain. I pay you for your brain. A big thing I like to say to people, and it's because it's true, is I'm paying them to think. I'm not just paying them to do, especially in the world of AI now. We're really paying people to think and then also use AI. Because if I wanted someone to just do, I would get a bot. I would pay someone for an automation. I would try and automate something myself. I mean, it's crazy how good Claude Code is in the last month. I've just been building stuff. So that's that one. Next one. Let me know if you like this format. I'm just rapid firing these questions, then answering them. Overcomplicating as a form of hiding. So this actually happens quite a lot when I'm dealing with very operational founders or people that are focused on a big goal and scale. And it's building systems, building automations, instead of figuring out the one thing that's going to move the business forward. So it's like, yes, I'm building a product. It's like, I don't know if you talk to anyone, they're like, I'm building my product. How long have you been building it? I've been building it for a year. Like, okay, well, do we know how we're going to get customers? Have we tested the market? Do we have a few people lined up who might want to test for us? Because we can hide behind the product, we can hide behind complications rather than just doing. Especially if we're an agency or even a SaaS, we're all sales or marketing driven organizations. I mean, when I say that, I think of, was it Naval who says, sales makes up for bad marketing, marketing makes up for bad product, because he's a product focused guy. But my experience, I want control. And control is sales and marketing of where the next client is going to come. If that's the case, let's figure out where the clients are. Let's try and talk to some. Let's get some users. Otherwise, we're going around in circles, just complicating. We're building automations for things that don't work yet. And when we try and, well, in my experience, when I've tried to automate things before they've existed first, it's just been a mess. It's just, we've created this thing, we spent lots of time on it, and then nothing happens. Then we bin it within 2 weeks because we never had enough conviction to test it in the first place. And it's just lands damp. It's not moving things. In my experience, everything that's moved into great momentum has been something that has been tried and tested in a small way and then really put foot down later. So yeah, also something to think about. Okay. Next one. Any questions? So I know I've been talking pretty much straight for 13 minutes, which if you know me, I'm usually the one that asks questions and listens. So anything come up? Anything interesting? Any questions? Please leave something in the comments. If you're not watching live, I'll get back to the comments afterwards. If you're watching live, they literally appear in this studio. Okay, let's talk about money. Money is, it's an emotional thing, isn't it? I've struggled with money in the past, struggled with my mindset around it. Thinking I should be somewhere, setting big goals and not hitting them, setting small goals, massively over hitting them, making way more than I spend, and saving but still feeling lack, or the opposite way around, not tracking metrics closely enough. So I think the analogy or methodology I want to share today is treating money like a thermostat or a AC control. If you're in Asia like me, it's boiling outside right now. So let's have a drink. So if money's a thermostat, where's your thermostat set? So it works like a thermostat. So say we want 25 degrees. If the temperature is below 25 degrees, what happens? The heater comes on, or the AC comes on. But let's say heater comes on, brings it up to 25 degrees. Because 25 degrees could be $10,000 a month. I'm not making 10K a month. I must turn on the heater, work super hard, burn it up, get to 10K a month. But I'm used to taking 10K a month. That's my thermostat. So what happens to a thermostat when you pass 10K a month? Well, it turns off. It stops pushing. It stops struggling. The effort stops. The need to develop to get to the next level stops. So like, that's interesting, isn't it? So same thing with money. Used to making 10K a month. I must make 10K a month. Push, 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 push. Hit 10K a month. Oh, all right. Well, I'm a 10K a month person. I can chill now. But that just holds us back because I've been there before as well. Same thing with income, same thing with net worth, same thing with how much money we hold. So, for example, say I wanted $100,000 and I feel safe at $100,000. Well, I'll push super hard to get there, but then what's the reason beyond that? What's my need? What's my reason? And a lot of what I do with clients is to figure out where they've set themselves mentally, like where they think their thermostat is, where they think they've hit enough, and then see if it is enough. I have a spreadsheet, actually. If you're interested, DM me. I'll send you. I have a whole multi-sheet Google Sheets format. And in that format, it helps us to define, it has a formula in there for putting in your current spend, your ideal spend, how much you spend on everything, and it calculates how much money you need now and in the future, and what you need to accumulate in order to be financially free. And often, actually, for me, sharing that with clients and dialing in that number is the motivation needed to reset that thermostat, the total amount needed. So once we've reset the thermostat for how much we need totally, because if you ask an average entrepreneur, oh, how much you need to be free, they'll say usually one of three things: 5, 10, or 20 million. And maybe at the same time, almost everyone, even in the US that I've run through this, the actual freedom number is lower than that. Usually it's somewhere between 2 and 5 million for freedom. And then, if we go on to the higher levels, like absolute freedom, having everything they want, the number goes much higher. But freedom is far more achievable than most people think, even on what is seen as not the hugest amount of income ever. So then once we've got that big number, then we need to reassess, well, what income is needed to get there so we can reset the income number. And for me, it's just making everything a must. Like, we must be free, so we must make this much money in order to be free in this amount of time. And my goal for everyone I work with is to be financially free within 10 years, because we set a number that they're going to be free anyway in 20, and then by working together, we try and accelerate that as quickly as possible. Even if there isn't an exit, even if there isn't a massive sale, financial freedom within 10 years, I believe, is achievable for almost anyone, even without one huge runaway success, like a massive exit or something like that. I wrote down a question here, but I'm not going to share it with you yet. I'm only going to do one more today. I'm going to make this like a 20-25 minute stream. And in the last part of this stream, what are we going to talk about? Rest with laziness. So being able to switch off. So several people I've worked with in the past have burned out before working with me. And by burning out, I mean pushing themselves to the point where they just go, fuck it, fuck it. And something I heard from one of my friends I was talking to, actually, which I took away and is a really good thing to try if you are feeling that burnout now and you're watching this stream or the replay and feeling burnt out, is take a week off. If you take a week off, totally off the business, and the energy and the drive comes back, then it's just burnout. You're just overextending yourself. And if it comes back, then it's just something needs to change in the business. And we know if you take 1 week off, 2 weeks off, and you're still like, screw this thing, then it's not burnout. You just don't like the business anymore, which is also okay. But at that point, we need to figure out how to get you out, with the maximum amount of cash as quickly as possible, because nobody who runs a business is going to put the effort in needed to make the thing grow without energy and drive. Maybe at a bigger, huger level, once you've got a real CEO, a real GM, a real business leader, it can grow without your effort and your focus. But for most people who I work with doing, $8,000 to $50,000 a month, they are still the drive. Your team runs off you. You don't have enough money yet in income to pay somebody 20, 30,000 a month to run your business. Well, maybe you have enough to pay someone 15,000, but then they have to have a good enough vision of your business and be sold on you and the business enough to take it on. So that's the 1%, the 0.1%. So switching off from the business and laziness. So I don't think anyone I've worked with is lazy. Like, they may be avoidant. They may be telling themselves they're lazy. They may be slower than somebody they know, but everyone I've worked with is much faster than the average person out there. Like, I only realized how the speed the average person out there operates by coaching some people who didn't pay me, as in I did for free. Not that I tried to charge them, they didn't pay me. But doing things for free, people don't value it, I think, as much. But also, I worked with people that couldn't afford it because they hadn't had some success. I like to work with people who've had some success, like they've made 5,000 a month at least. They've sold an app, they've done something, because that shows that it's possible and shows they've got the raw materials to work with. We just need to, tweak a few things. But yeah, like the difference being that I have friends that have done, a decade's worth of work. What I see as a decade's worth of work in 2 years. It makes me feel super slow. I've also, coached people who've taken 3 weeks to do what I think is 2 hours worth of work, because of avoidance. So the long answer to that question, but nobody I've already worked with has ever been actually lazy. If you think you're lazy, book a call. We'll figure out if you are lazy. And if you are lazy, I'll tell you you're lazy. You might be avoidant. You might just be judging yourself, and maybe you are moving fast enough. If we figure out what your goals are, you may not have any goals. If we don't have a goal and don't have something we're going to hit, well, yes, I mean, we're lazy, we're high performance. We don't know, because there's no stick, there's no benchmark to benchmark ourselves against. So what I would do, if you think you're lazy, see what your goal is, how close you are to it, and how long it's going to take you to get there. And then check you're happy with that goal. Like, if we hit this level by this time and we believe it's achievable, can I have the weekend off? Can I finish work at 5 o'clock every day? The answers should be yes, in my point of view. So I'm going to watch this back later, and I'm going to see what I think of this, me talking for 20 minutes. Let me know what you think, because this is the first time that I've done this type of monologue style video. Maybe I should come up with some questions that are a bit more organized. So just a recap, like, none of these patterns we've discussed today are weakness. These patterns are human. And if we didn't have them, then we'd all be perfect. And if we were all perfect, there'd be nothing to grow past. And if there's nothing to grow past, then there's nothing to do. I mean, we'd just be sitting there being perfect all day. And as my wife says, she can do it, but I can't. Not the thing about the being perfect all day. So if you want to be live coached on Friday, please DM me. If you're watching this on Facebook, or if you're on a different platform, comment coach, and I will message you to get you on the stream for Friday. We should be going live 9 a.m. Friday morning Vietnam time, 11 p.m. Thursday EST, 7 p.m. Thursday PST. Check out my website, johncavendish.com. We've got some cool new stuff there. I've been working on our new interface for our clients for the last week. It should be going live within a week, at least to some of my more tech clients, because I want them to use it first, where we can see what we did in the last session. It breaks things down. It takes all action items, it extracts it all with AI, and it puts it into our platform. I'm super excited to share that with you. Maybe I can share that on Friday. And Friday we'll be here with a guest at the time I just said. So 9 a.m. Vietnam, 10 p.m. EST Thursday, 9 a.m. Vietnam Friday. So thank you so much for being here live. I am super excited to connect with you all again a couple of times a week. Please do come back to the streams. It's been great to see so many people coming and going from this stream. So it means that we actually went live this time, which on last time didn't work live, only afterwards. And thank you all for being here. See you all very soon, and hope you all take advantage of your opportunities this week. See you, everyone.